Honestly, the effects the Naruto run has had on the West must be studied and will be on our history books. Welcome back, horror fans. I'm Leo, and Bootube Breakdowns is here to save your scary movie night. Right off the bat, Weapons scores a 7.6 out of 10, landing it solidly in our Pumpkin King category. But here's the thing. I've already had to violently headbutt my partner into a new bowl of bloody mashed potatoes to get you this score. And in a few minutes, I'll show you exactly why this film earned its rating. If you disagree with my score at the end of the video, be sure to let me know how much you want to repeatedly fork your face to manipulate a child into doing everything you ask, and then tell me everything in the comment section. Weapons kicks off with a nightmare. 17 kids from the same 3rd grade class vanish at exactly 2:17 a.m., leaving behind one traumatized student and a small town spiraling into paranoia and grief. Enter multiple town folks: teacher, cop, grieving dad, school principal, each spinning their own version of what went down, and none of them are consistent. As the layers unfold, it becomes clear this isn't just a disappearance, it's witchcraft. Aunt Gladys, a creepy, immortal figure, uses magic through personal effects to enslave the town's children and adults alike. The magic disconnects blood families and turns ordinary people into weapons of violence. When push comes to shove, the one surviving boy, Alex, reverses the curse and the children hunt Gladys down in brutal fashion. By the end, most kids survive but remain catatonic, and the ripple effect of grief and manipulation lingered deeper than the supernatural freakout ever did. Told through multiple perspectives, the movie basically plays out like an anthology stitched together with missing children at its center. On paper, it's a simple story, but the shifting viewpoints give it enough depth to actually matter. Each perspective doesn't just expand the world, it drags you closer to the characters themselves, close enough that when the tragedy hits, you realize there aren't really villains, there's just people stumbling through grief in different ways. The one exception, of course, is Gladys, but we'll get to her in a moment. Story quality gets a 10 out of 10. Told through multiple perspectives, the movie basically plays out like an anthology. The pacing starts off slow, mostly because we're stuck with Justine, who is insufferable but necessary since she sets the groundwork. Once your story wraps, the movie finally wakes up. Archer's section immediately benefits from the context we got from Justine, and from there, each story layers on top of the last, making the whole thing feel more cohesive and alive. The awkward splicing of characters is still noticeable, but it stops being a distraction once the momentum kicks in. By the time we hit the ending, the movie has transformed into a fast-paced, haunting story that barely lets you breathe. Pacing gets an 8 out of 10. The movie actually nails some horror moments worth mentioning. The witch here is probably the best on-screen version I've seen. Creepy, sadistic, and genuinely dangerous. Her curses hit hard, especially the way she can just toss some trinkets in a bag, walk into a house, and strip people of their free will like it's nothing. The puppeteering is just as unsettling, particularly the car scene where Miss Lily is forced into collecting a locket of hair. Slow, deliberate, uncanny. It's a masterclass in tension and anticipation. The problem is, the writers clearly know how to terrify an audience, then immediately undermine themselves with a parade of cheap scares. I was ready to give this section an 8 out of 10, but after that nonsense, I'm docking 2 points and settling on a 6 out of 10. The puppet curses were easily the highlight, slow and menacing in a way that made them unforgettable. Gladys is by far the best character here. Ugly, manipulative, calculating, and never reduced to some tired femme fatale witch stereotype. Each scene here was magnetic, and the curses themselves were both visually impressive and genuinely threatening, which is something horror almost never pulls off with witches. James playing a crackhead was an oddly fun touch too, adding chaos where it was needed. The only problem is the film couldn't resist jamming in clunky metaphors about school shootings, with Archer literally astral projecting an AR-15 in the clouds. Subtle as a brick to the face, but at least it doesn't linger too long. I just personally don't like politics in my entertainment. Justine is written to be unbearable, and wow, mission accomplished. I hated every second of her. Still, the fun factor was undeniable, and this one lands at a strong 9 out of 10. How would I describe the ending of this movie? In a word, disappointing. The movie had been building tension for over 2 hours, only to blow it all on a Scooby-Doo style chase. Alex takes control of the curse, the witch runs around like a cartoon for 5 full minutes, and Archer follows her trail looking like a bumbling idiot. If this were a comedy horror, fine. But after all that setup, it lands as shockingly lazy and deflated. The climax isn't bad, it's just completely underwhelming. Tension evaporates, stakes disappear, and the movie ends on a middle-of-the-road 5 out of 10. So that's Bootube Breakdowns' take on Weapons. Averaging our scores gives this movie a 7.6 out of 10, placing it in our Pumpkin King category. Do you agree with my rating? Scream your score in the comments and tell me what horror flick I should gut next. If this saved your spooky vibes, smash that like, share with your horror crew, hit that notification bell, and subscribe to Bootube Breakdowns for more killer verdicts. Keep it creepy, and I'll haunt you in the next review.